Hi, everyone. My name is Thomas Gao. I'm the Business Development Manager for the PowerFuel, including hydrogen network within the Decarb Hub. So today I'll go through a couple of slides, just telling you what is the network about, because the network is a new initiative, but we are having quite a few programs happening, including the seed programs we are talking about today. So climate change, that's at the front and center of New South Wales government's policy agenda. We have legislated emissions target, from the Climate Change Act 2023. That's 50% reduction in 2030, 70% in 2035, compared to 2005 level, and also to reach net zero in 2050. We have the New South Wales Net Zero Plan Stage 1 that sets out how we're going to reach our 2030 target with a wide range of policies and programs. We also have the Net Zero Industry and Innovation Program, offering 1 billion in funding support to decarbonize existing industry operations, but also to invest in new clean tech and manufacturing capability from New South Wales. So we have the targets, we have the strategies, programs all in place, but we do need a platform to support the collaboration for clean tech, R&D, and commercialization. This is why the New South Wales government established the New South Wales Decarbonisation Innovation Hub to build the communities and foster the relationships. The Decarb Hub hosts 3 innovation networks, each representing a strategic area for New South Wales decarbonisation. That's PowerFuel, including hydrogen, electrification and energy system, land and primary industry. So the PowerFuel, including hydrogen network, is spearheading the innovation breakthrough of Power-to-X or P2X technologies and industry development. Our vision is to make New South Wales the global leader of P2X. The mission is to accelerate the industrial translation of P2X technologies through collaborative research, capability building, and expertise to address challenges faced by clean fuels and chemicals value chains. How can the network achieve those missions? And we work closely with our partners and members. The network partners are New South Wales-based universities and government agencies, offering new technologies and expertise to our members. The network has 6 funding partners. That's University of New South Wales, UTS, University of Sydney, University of Wollongong, Newcastle, and New South Wales Department Primary Industry. We have an open partnership model, so we are onboarding new partners as we speak. The network members are players across industry, research, government, NGOs, community groups in New South Wales, Australian, and globally. Whichever organization share the same vision and on the same missions with us to accelerate P2X for decarbonization and economic benefits. We have a free membership model, always welcome new members to join the networks and work with us. So what does the network do to deliver our promise? We have 5 working streams. That's R&D stream, which is direct investment by the network to support New South Wales R&D to help technology move up their technology readiness ladder and bridge the gap of commercialization. SID grant is part of the R&D working stream. We have tech transfer stream supporting the high commercial readiness technologies for their industry applications, help startups to scale and go to market. Have capability building stream that helps identify the state's P2X capability and build the ecosystem. We start with capability mapping on research skills and projects. The network's first capability statement is available online. We have a policy stream offering our expertise to all policymakers to advise on the national strategies and program design. For example, the network's made submission to the Australian National Hydrogen Strategy Review last year. We also have industry development stream that's doing supply chain feasibility studies and project engineering design to accelerate P2X industry development. Like the New South Wales P2X industry study and the P2X value chain modeling tool to help our industry partners to understand the tech economic of their investment in New South Wales. The network also run events, have engagement activities, and offering capability building services to support the 5 streams above. So this slide is the current New South Wales P2X technology landscape, showing some of the disruptive technologies and companies in the state. You would notice quite a few of them are university spin-offs, like HiSADA, like Plasma Leap, like Hygienic. They're quite successful already and making profound impacts on climate change and innovation. We want to see more startups like that. We want to see more disruptive technologies coming out from university labs. And we know there are dedicated people like you that working on those technologies right now. That's why we have the PowerFuel Hydrogen Network Seed Grant to give you the funding support, but also give you the opportunities to work with industry and research partners, help you bring your technology to the next level. I will now pass to Francis to talk about the Seed Grant program in details.
Thank you so much, Tom. Hi, everyone. My name is Francis So. I am the Projects Officer for not only the New South Wales Decarb Innovation Hub itself, but also in the Power Fuels, including Hydrogen Network. The package itself has been on the Power Fuels page on the Decarb Hub website since December the 15th last year. The grants are the 2023 round one grants, and it was supposed to have been running kind of in the last part of last year, but we are finally getting them up and we're so excited to have them underway. So the grants themselves are being administered from UNSW on behalf of the Power Fuels network under which it sits, because the Decarb Hub is hosting both the Power Fuels network and one of the other networks within the hub, as Tom has already explained. Each one of these grants will be between 50,000 and 100,000, excluding GST. Now we'll explain what those funds can be used for. But one of the main sticking points of this particular grant is that as an industry partner, or if you are one of our university partners already and are thinking of putting together a proposal, your industry partner must match your funding 1-to-1, and we'll explain that in a little bit more depth afterwards. The project length, maximum 12 months, and there's a couple of caveats to that as well. So let's move on. The applications, as I said, opened 15th December last year and will close on the 11th of March this year. Following that, the assessment panel will be going through the applications throughout Q2 this year, and the projects will start being contracted in later Q2. The projects are set to commence in the 3rd quarter of this year, and as we said, with a 12-month program timeline, it will finish around Q3 of next year. So there was a slide on part 5. Let me just go back towards that up here. This one here, the partners. So those 6 university partners that are part of the network, these are the institutions which must be the lead for one of these seed grant proposals. So you must come from one of these 6 partners in order to put forward a proposal, but the industry partner can be anyone that you are able to collaborate with. And moving back, I'm so sorry. So do you need to be part of those industry and government and university institutions, but you also must hold and comply with the necessary authorizations. Basically, that means, are you allowed to do it? Are you allowed to go ahead and put forward a proposal? That is an absolute must. So it is something that you need to be aware of before applying. Your project proposal has to involve the participation of at least one industry partner. So that industry partner can be from the community, it can be another government organization that isn't part of that matrix that we saw before. And as I said before, the one-to-one co-investment, and I'll explain how that will work in a little bit. Now, we are targeting TRL 3 to 6 with these seed grants. So not the lower end research. We are definitely moving towards more of the proof of concept stage and going on towards the prototype and the testing. So that's what these seed grants are targeting. After all, the purpose of the Decarb Innovation Hub is to foster commercialization of our technologies. So these are all the categories that are eligible in terms of the expenditure of the grant funds, as we said before, between $50,000 and $100,000. You will notice that things which are ineligible are the salary costs of the industry partners, the indirect and other costs incurred, overseas travel expenses. Sorry, you won't be able to do your project from Bali, and activity or administration support that's outside of UNSW. So those are the things which are ineligible, but things which are eligible have to do with the direct costs of getting this project up and running. And those are listed there. All of the things are listed in the application package and in the information in the grant guidelines as well. But what I wanted to focus on mainly were the industry co-fund contribution. So they must be cash contributions. They cannot be in kind. So we will go through what the budget template looks like, but essentially you cannot count the 1-for-1 as part of an in-kind contribution. They must absolutely be cash. And the industry partner only. So anything to do with an additional contribution from the partner university, for example, from a UNSW or a UTS partner who decides to add funds on top of the seed grants that they're requesting, we cannot count that as the matching funds, unfortunately. And it must absolutely be new funding. So we cannot count funds which you're pulling from the thousands of other projects that you may be doing. This is kind of the matrix by which the assessment panel, which will assess each and every proposal. You'll notice that 60% belongs to what you're doing with that proposal. So the quality and innovation and its alignment with our net zero targets. So we know the legislated 2020-50 targets. That is what this alignment with the net zero target is referring to. But one thing I wanted to draw attention to is in the application package, the grant guidelines, the 30% project quality and innovation is listed as such. It says the proposal is unique and novel and is not a duplication of an existing grant or proposal. When you access the application form, there is actually an additional kind of note or caveat, and it says, it has to look into the innovative aspects, the contribution to the decarb sphere, and it looks at the potential to generate investment, enterprise, and employment. So that's all covered in the complexity of that 30%. So that's what they're looking for in the project quality and innovation. In terms of partnership, as Tom mentioned, we're all about collaboration. The hub itself and the network is all about collaborating and extending our reach as a network and working with our partners and industry. So this partnership is absolutely essential to demonstrate that you're working with your industry partner and building upon those partnerships. The 10% delivery is just to ascertain the likelihood of the delivery, any project kind of roadblocks that may eventuate. And so it's an assessment of the project's ability to stand up. And the translation opportunity is its ability to be commercialized. So all of those things, again, explained in the grant application and the guidelines, but it's always good to talk about it on the day. Next up. IP is an incredibly important part of what you all do. And we realize the importance of recognizing your right to your IP. So the hub and the network will not hold any rights to the IP, the royalties, the financial returns. IP is going to be solely owned by the university or the universities that are involved in the project and the industry partners which are named. So anyone named on the contracts for the proposal, those are the institutions to which the IP will belong. That IP will be negotiated on a project by project basis at the time of that contract negotiation, as I said. So we really encourage a discussion of that IP beforehand. It's always good to know what your partners are thinking before you enter into those contracts. And access to necessary background IP will be negotiated between the owner of the project IP and the owner of the background IP, again, on a project by project basis. Thanks, Kate. Last part, the fun part, the most important part, the contracting. Right, so commencement, the funding will be paid to the lead applicant. So the institution, one of those 6 institutions who are named as the lead for this proposal, they will receive the tranche of funding. The lead partner is responsible for managing that project as well, which is super important when we look at the contracts and reporting part. Projects are expected to commence within the 30 days period after that contract has been executed, and it must conclude within a year. So as we were saying, Q3 2024 becomes Q3 next year. In terms of contracts and reporting, the lead applicant organization will be responsible for signing those contracts. There will be quarterly milestones and reporting, but 2 of the most important things are there is a presentation at the mid-year and at the end. That mid-year presentation is a progress report to the network to demonstrate what has been happening in the 6-month period, those 2 quarters following the execution of the contract. The final report can be submitted no later than 2 months after the completion. So that would be sometime in Q4 2025. So that is the absolute latest. So 14 months in total. And a final presentation on the project will be required no later than 3 months after the project completion. So 15 months in total altogether if we include that deadline for the final presentation. Our network will remain actively engaged in those projects along the way. We will support the documentation. We will identify the additional funding and the partners, and we will provide advice. That is our role. That's Tom's role. He and the leadership in the network is absolutely fantastic, on the ball, on the job, and we will always be there. That's why the network exists. So we reserve the right to publicize the funded projects for marketing and communication purposes. Obviously, we would love to celebrate the wins that our partners and their industry partners make, and all proprietary information will remain confidential as always. The hub and the network itself must be acknowledged as the funder in any publication on reports resulting from the project, please. Next. So this is one of the attachments that must be included. It is just the first sheet in a workbook for the budget. Acknowledgement has to be made for the one of our other networks, the Land and Primary Industries Network. This budget template was largely based on what they had. And one of the things that must be acknowledged is that we would like Caitlin, I'm not sure. Oh, wait, I might be able to do this here. We would like everyone to ensure that at the time of submission, the requested funds from the grant is exactly equal to the industry partner co-contribution. So as you can see in this slide, it's 50,000 apiece. Your in-kind contributions do not calculate and will not be counted towards that one-to-one. So it's very important to understand. And in each one of the sheets, the cream cells are the only cells that you are to populate. Everything else is self-explanatory. So that's just an overview of everything. And I realize that there may be some other technicalities and questions, but we hope to cover those. So thank you very much for everyone's participation, and I'll hand it back over to Caitlin.